Hi, Sagittarius Sun and Sagittarius Rising. Welcome to your May 2017 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So what is happening for those of us who are born under the sign of Sagittarius? Well, one thing that relates to relationships. Fifth house activity coupled with seventh house activity. The fifth house is the house of falling in love. It's the house of love affairs. Recreational sex can be part of this. So you can have a connection with somebody and maybe you're not madly in love, but you're madly in lust. It can be the house of conceiving children, the house of children themselves, the house of creativity, which, kids is a part of that too. The house of hobbies, home businesses, fun, enjoyment. And you have Mercury going direct in this house on May 3rd. You also have Venus in this house all month. And Venus can bring money. So for home businesses, if you have your own business, you may find that your finances increase in May. And while the retrograde was happening, maybe you had a loss of business in the form of just everything going quiet. This can happen when Mercury retrogrades in a house that deals with work or money. And initially, in this particular retrograde, Mercury started out in your sixth house of work, the workplace, and it went back into the fifth house. So during that retrograde, you may have been kind of thinking along the lines of, do I really want to do this? You may have gotten discouraged about any kind of home business. Now, it actually could be the exact opposite. You may have been reviewing ideas connected to your workplace, because that's where the retrograde started from, in the sixth house. And so you may have been like, I'm not sure I want to work in this place anymore. I think I might want to start my own business. So it's probably more along those lines. But for some people who work from home, you might have just been like wondering where is the work? Why did everything grind to a halt? I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised or relieved by seeing things pick up as the month continues, starting from the 3rd of May. On the 16th, Mercury will go back into that sixth house in Taurus. Venus will be in that fifth house all month long. So there could be some kind of romantic situation, liaison, going on. Because actually, Venus retrograded in this particular house, going back into the 4th, last month, or 2 months ago, and went direct in mid-April. And that could be some of you finding, some kind of a partner who came back into the picture from long ago. And you had to deal with issues from the past coming into the current situation. Now, for some of you, it may have put a strain on your marriage, because you have Mars all month long in the 7th house of marriage and other committed partnerships. So if some of you were hearing from an old lover, maybe you didn't have a physical affair, maybe you had an emotional affair with this person, or maybe just being in contact with this person was some sort of, not necessarily betrayal, but it just was not something that your partner really appreciated. Maybe your partner had problems with you taking phone calls from a former lover, even if you had no intention of going back with them. And so it created a bit of a rift. However, what this can also mean is that your marriage kind of kicks into high gear. Mars can be very energetic, and Sagittarians tend not to fear the energy associated with Mars because Mars is the ruler of Aries, our fellow fire sign. And so we understand that kind of Martian energy, which is very aggressive and forward moving and not a very blunt, very direct in its in how it goes about things. It's not passive aggressive, it's aggressive. And so things tend to be more above board when you have that kind of thing because people are just asserting their right to be independent. It may be as simple as, hey, I can talk to an old lover if I want. That doesn't mean I'm cheating on you. Or I want to actually see this person. But it can also bring back the zest in your current relationship because that person may actually begin to appreciate you more. And maybe they will not take you for granted and you will do more together because Mars tends to be very action-oriented. So what else is going on here? Oh, there's going to be a new moon in this house too. So it can be very good for renewing your bonds of partnership. This is going to be on May 25th at 4 degrees of Gemini. There's going to be a full moon in Scorpio on May 10th. Scorpio is our 12th house. The 12th house is a house of everything that we don't really like to deal with, that we kind of shove under the rug. So kind of repressed memories or psychological matters that are kind of down, buried down deep. Mental health in general, but also I just said psychological. Also spiritual, mystical experiences, past life kinds of things. And so a full moon, the full moon is so prophetic that dreams can be very vivid and prophetic. You may gain an insight about something regarding fears, regarding, the limitations. The 12th house is a house of undoing. So it can deal with addiction. You might have an easier time letting go of something that is not serving you, that is holding you back. And really being aware of how it's holding you back. And remember, we do have Saturn in our first house until the end of the year. So Saturn is kind of whipping us into shape, and the 12th house is kind of clearing out the debris. You have the first, the 12th. The first house in Saturn in the first house, setting that template or that the whole way of being that you want to be disciplined in life. It could be on the physical level too, because the first house rules the body. So that is very good, I think. I think to have that 12th house clearing out, because in June, we will have a full moon in our sign. And that will be a time to let go of something that is related to how we are, our basic sense of ourselves. Maybe you let go of these psychological issues now, and then in June, you're able to better shed an old skin. I think that on the 12th and 13th of the month, there's going to be good energy for manifestation. Mars is in the 7th house in Gemini, and Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, which happens to rule our sign, is in the 11th house in Libra. The 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes, so your long-term goals, as well as your friendships and your group associations. The 7th house is the house of partnership, but this can be not only romantic partners, but partners that are like clients, you know what I mean? So when you have a trine, it's like this easy flow of energy, it's like networking on steroids. And this can benefit you financially because the 11th house is also connected to the internet. And, you know, I have heard the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius and in its ruler Uranus. And the third house is ruled by Gemini and its ruler Mercury. And I've heard that the third house is also connected to the internet because it's a form of communication. That's what the third house stands for, or one of the things. So I've heard both the third and the 11th houses with the internet. But because the 11th house is the house of the masses, it definitely, with that 7th house, there's a social energy associated with this, along with technology. And so with Jupiter actually being the planet in that 11th house, you can benefit from promoting things online that garner you clients. So if you have an online business or you want to start one, you might want to think about the 12th or the 13th of May if other factors hold up for you, because Mercury will be direct. It's the time to launch and you may feel called to do so. And I just want to second that notion if that's the case. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have an awesome May. Bye.